I just decided to make a lazy vlog of one of my weekend lunches. So we have some cabbage boiling. I'm following a Korean recipe to make a cabbage soup. And this is some of the prep I'm doing. So I have green onions and garlic that I'm chopping. And I'm going to set this aside. We're going to use soybean paste in that. This is jang. This is soybean paste. If you don't have it, you could use miso. I hear that you can substitute it for any soybean paste, and the flavors are slightly different between these. So here are some anchovies that I have. These are Indian anchovies, so they don't really make as delicious a stock as the Korean anchovies do. But I had these lying around and these were older, so I decided to use that. I'm taking the gut of the fish off. I keep the head and the body, and I take off the gut. I just love doing a vlog because it's so much more comfortable. I am keeping it easy, so whatever I have. Now this is a bowl in which I am adding all of the vegetables or the scraps from the prep, and I'm hoping that my dog will eat it. Now my cabbage is boiled. I am storing that water. I normally don't throw away water unless it has to be. I'm adding a little more fresh water and all of the flavoring vegetables to this. Now I am following the real recipe and I do not understand at this point why they throw away that water, but I just wanted to follow it just in case it makes a tastier soup. I'm also going to make some crabs. I'm making dry preparation because I already have a soup going on. So these are mud crabs and I'm going to show you how I clean them. I think in Western countries you mostly will buy cleaned crabs, so you may not have to do this. This is the body of the crab and this is a flap that we take off. Now this flap is normally an indication of whether it's a male crab or a female crab. So if it's a female crab, there are chances of you finding crab roe inside, and if it's a male crab, then there is tamale that we like. It's a delicacy, but it's also an acquired taste because it has a slight bitter tone to it, just like liver would, because I think it's a detox or sauce system of the crab. I'll throw this water into the crabs to defrost the last bit of it now. The claws are the easiest to eat, but we love the body of the crab. It's got a sweeter flavor and it's just more delicious. Anyway, so here are the gills which I remove, and there is sometimes mud at the bottom of that because this is a mud crab after all, so it lives in muddy or dark sand. So I'm going to wash away that mud if there is any, or sand. You can even use an old toothbrush to do this. You don't want to start your water full-fledged because that will wash away the tamale. Cover of the body has some of the tamale, and there is also a black sac which you want to remove if you can get your hands on. I sometimes let it be rather than losing the tamale. And I also take off all of the small bits that are coming out of the crab body. They don't add to the flavor. So let's check on the soup. This is how I had added my anchovies. I added it to a spoon and put the spoon inside. So I'm going to take those off because they normally have lost all of their flavor. And this I'm storing for my dog. Now I'm adding soy sauce, some more of the soybean paste because I tasted it and I felt like it was a little bland. I also want to share with you guys that I think boiling the cabbage was a bad idea because I think it got wilted too much for my liking. I would add all of these things together in one go and let it boil. Now here I'm making the flavorings for the crab. So we have some butter and some oil. I also put some of the green onions. So here's my tiny chopper which I'm absolutely in love with. I have some garlic and onions in it and I'm going to add it to my butter and olive oil mixture. And you know what else would work really well in this recipe? Prawns or shrimp, whatever you call it. At this point, I've added some more green onions because I just wanted to finish off whatever I had. And a little more butter because I felt like I want to slather it with that buttery sauce. Here's the salt. And now I'm going to lay my cleaned crabs inside of this. So I'm putting the bodies inside first. And these are the claws. I'm going to just whack them a little bit so that they're easier to break while you're eating. There's some water that comes out of it. I'm holding it in the covers because I don't want to lose any natural flavor or any natural water. I actually don't even like to waste any water that comes out of the tap. as far as possible. So here I tried giving all of the scraps to my dog. I'm trying to give him more natural foods because I realized for some reason their doctors recommend eating processed foods. It never made sense to me. I give him all the scraps from the vegetables and he normally will eat it if there's any flavor of any meat or fish or non-vegetarian food. If I tell him no, you have to eat it, he's a little more obedient than my other kids. He'll finally eat the cabbage scrap. He did not enjoy the green onions, threw them away later. Anyway, enough of the dog. Our crabs are almost ready. I'm gonna just give it a mix. What I also do is that some of the water that comes out of the crabs, I try to put it in each of the shells and each of the pieces of the crab so that it flavors all of it, which is what I'm doing here. And maybe cover it one more time and then it will be ready. So yeah, I'm getting it out on the plate. And the crab claws are what my kids eat, and sometimes I'm even lazy to do that, so I'll just clean it for them and give it to them. And I eat the covers. The flavor is a little too strong for my husband, and then we both enjoy the body of the crab. Now here's my cabbage soup. I added a little bit of seaweed to it, as you might have seen, and I'm just laying it out. I have some chickpea curry that I made earlier, or you can call it, it's not a curry, it's actually dry, and some white rice. And this is what we had for lunch.